when patients are screened correctly, is extremely safe. There are certain conditions where it's not safe. And so the screening questionnaire is really designed to weed out people in which HRT would be unsafe. So if you get past the screening questions, then we know that hormone replacement therapy will be safe for you. Some of the big things that people worry about are cardiovascular risks and cancer. The cardiovascular risk thing is interesting. If you start hormone replacement therapy before you're 60 years of age, it's actually protective against heart disease and stroke. And so that's one of the big things, is we make sure that that's safe. And so if you're under 60, your chance of having a heart attack or other cardiovascular problem, if you're on hormone therapy, is actually less than those that don't start hormone therapy at all. So that risk, again, is very age dependent. The other one that everybody asks about is breast cancer. And, that's really more nuanced. And if there's all kinds of different studies that maybe there's a slight increased risk, and maybe there's no really increased risk at all. But if there is a risk, it's very small. The problem is that there was a big study that came out, quite a while ago, that when the first sort of preliminary results came out and made big headlines saying, "Oh, this is going to give you breast cancer," and it just wasn't true. There was maybe a slight increased risk, and in some of the forms of hormone therapy, there wasn't any risk at all. And so the risk of breast cancer is, if at all, is very, very small. If you look overall, if you start hormone replacement therapy, if you're one of these people that pass through the screening and don't have underlying problems that we would worry about, and you're an appropriate candidate, then people that are on hormone therapy have a longer life expectancy than people that aren't on hormone therapy. Because even if there is a slight increased risk of breast cancer, there's decreased risks of uterine cancer and colon cancer and other bad things that can happen to you, particularly cardiovascular issues. So that overall, you're much more likely to live longer if you're on hormone therapy than if you're not on it. And even more importantly, in my opinion, is your life is better. So not only do you live longer and healthier, but you live happier and feel better. So unfortunately, like I said, there's these kind of crazy things on the internet, but the science really says that for an appropriately screened candidate, this is a very safe thing.
In the studies that were released in 2002, that was using a form of hormone therapy that we do not use. So we use bioidentical hormones, and those are from yams. And bioidentical hormones are identical to the hormones that your ovaries would naturally be producing when you were younger. So we're replacing the hormones identically to the hormones that you're losing with menopause. And so you're not getting too much of the hormone, we're just getting it balanced back to where it was at your ideal point. The other thing, the research has shown that even women that have been diagnosed with breast cancer have a greater likelihood of dying of cardiovascular disease than they do of breast cancer. So cardiovascular disease is the number one killer of women over breast cancer or any other form of cancer. And we know that HRT, hormone replacement therapy, decreases the likelihood of cardiovascular disease, heart problems. And so for that reason, in and of itself, HRT is really part of the reason why women are living longer and better than they would without HRT.